What's up, bros and hoes, or whatever floats your goat? It's Relentless, and today I'm bringing you yet another brand new Division build video. And it seems like we have some pesky NPCs in the general vicinity, but we won't let that necessarily hinder us. First and foremost, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of your support. It's greatly appreciated, and don't forget the giveaway is still going on for the $180 value Cinch gaming controller with Cinch Tech gaming grip. All the bells and whistles. You can check out that link in the description below, and also check out Revolution Gaming. Their link is also in the description below. If you're looking for a gaming community on all things gaming, not just Division, but in every game possible, whether it be first-person shooters, RPGs, turn-based games, doesn't matter. It's an awesome, positive gaming community, and everyone is there willing to help out everybody, no matter what the case may be. If you need help during incursions, if you need help in the DZ, if you want to matchmake in Rainbow Six Siege, or you're just looking for somebody to game with on Ark Survival, you know, the sky's the limit. So I advise and recommend go check them out. But without further ado, we'll jump right into this build, and also stay tuned for some gameplay at the end. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. As you can see, I'm running 4-piece striker with specialized and savage. Let's go over the weapons first. Always my trusty SASG-12 with brutal, responsive, and competent with 98.3k base damage and 340% stagger. In the mod slots, 110.5% magazine size, 5% reload speed, 5.3% rate of fire, 24.5% optimal range, 3% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage on the small optics, and on the small underbarrel, 49% optimal range, 5% reload speed, and 4% critical hit damage. So roughly 73%, optimal range on the sausage, which makes its range, it can outrange the SMG that doesn't have optimal range on it. As you can see down here, almost doubles the range of an SMG. And it's great when it comes to striker and stacking up those stacks as fast as possible and getting the most damage down range with a shotgun. My secondary is the classic AK-47. I'd say one of the most underutilized ARs in the game. 20% enemy armor damage, 23.8k base damage with deadly destructive adept. Adept comes in handy using a skill, increases your crit hit chance by 7.5% for 15 seconds. Magazine size, 109.5% magazine size, 3% crit hit chance, 5.2% rate of fire. Rugged midi reflex sight, 7.5% crit hit chance, 5.5% headshot damage, and 4% crit hit damage. The large muzzle, Omega rifle suppressor, 18.5% headshot damage, 4% crit hit damage, 3% crit hit chance, and reduced threat. And in the underbarrel, 18% crit hit damage, 2.5% stability, and 4.5% reload speed. Now, you can choose to run such as like the Bullfrog with responsive, deadly, not complicated. If you want the lightweight M4, I have one here with brutal, responsive, and fierce. Or if you're an SMG, then I have one with responsive, deadly, and vicious. It all depends on your personal preference on what guns you choose to run. Basically, anything that I run, the sausage is just so great as a secondary that I run it just basically on every single build. But I've been trying out the classic AK-47 and its base damage accompanied with this striker works out really well. But also the lightweight M4 or the MP5 ST is also a great choice as well. Moving on to the chest piece. I have multiple chest pieces, but I'm more or less went around the skill haste, and so I have this one at 1853 base armor, not bad. I wish the stamina roll was a little higher at 1234. I at least try to get that at 1250. It has 8% skill haste and almost 16,000 health, which is equivalent to about 1,000 main status stamina. And minor attributes, increased kill XP, but I prefer ammo capacity. I also have this striker vest if I choose to switch it up. It has more base health, higher armor, and in the major attributes it has health in all resistance if I choose to go that route. Also, I have this one if I want to completely stack nothing but firearms and go all out complete damage, then I can add another 5.5% enemy armor damage. and it has a good armor roll on it, and it has health. Also, you can use a Barrett's chest piece or a rapid chest piece as well with this, and swap it out with the gloves. And instead of just, I got striker gloves, you can put on striker gloves, run rapid, and it reduces your cooldowns even faster. But as of right now, I went with this one. 8% skill haste, like I said, almost 16k health. And the mod slots, 263 electronics with 3% skill haste, and another 263 electronics and 3% skill haste. Moving on to the mask. As you can see, I have a plethora of masks to choose from, but this one had a perfect armor roll on it at 1001 with 1229 firearms, which is a little on the low side. My baseline usually is 1250. And the major attributes is skill power. The minor is 11% damage to elites in case I choose to run this build on any incursion. And in the mod slot, 259 stamina with 3% skill haste. I could choose to go a different route if I want to be a little more on the tanky side and with crit chance and damage to elites. Or I can go to this one, but this is basically the same as this one up here, just with lower stats. Or I can go with some more all resist and stamina, but that is a puny and measly armor roll. So that's why I went with, in my opinion, the best that I had, which is this mask. Moving on to the knee pads. Once again, as you can see, I got multiple ones to choose from. 1509 and firearms, 1575 in armor, disrupt resistance, burn resistance, and shock resistance. Instead of the disrupt resistance, I'd prefer it be bleed resistance. And then the major attribute slot, I went with the extra health at 14,391. And in the mod slots, I went with 261 firearms with 3% skill haste and 5.5% first aid self heal. Now you can adjust the toughness, and instead of the firearms, you can choose to throw on more stamina with skill haste. If I want to stack on more crit hit damage and go a little bit less in toughness, then I could have went with these knee pads. Or if I wanted to be a little more tanky and throw on additional enemy armor damage, and this one has burn resistance and bleed resistance, then I have multiple different ways to choose from. Now, if I want to go more on the tanky side, then this knee pads is the one that I would go with. But since I like dishing out a lot of damage, and I have a moderate size health pool, and my skill power is not too shabby as it sits. Moving on to the backpack. Specialized backpack, no surprise. Decent armor roll at 1258 firearms, 13,257 health, and 16% bleed resistance. And then the mod slots, 248 stamina, 3% skill haste, with 6% first aid self heal, and the other mod slots. Now, I'm pretty sure others have better stamina mods out there, and you can adjust these mods in any way that you choose, whatever best suits your playability and your play style. You can go a little more tanky and add a little more toughness. The sky's the limit. This is just goes along with how I prefer to play and what works for me. So just take this as a more or less a grain of salt. And like I said, if you would rather run a Barrett's chest piece or rapid chest piece, those would be the two that I would recommend. If you chose not to run with the Savage gloves. But nowadays, the specialized backpack has become the go-to backpack. I would say the Ninja bag, but, you know, that would just be an April Fool's joke. And basically, the Ninja Bike Messenger bag is a joke and just needs to be taken out of the game or adjusted to something that's actually going to benefit us. But moving on to the gloves. 1256 firearms, 960 base armor, not too shabby. And then the mod slots, or the major attributes, I have SMG damage, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. Thus, that if I wanted to run with the MP5 ST, if I wanted to run shotgun, I would immediately switch to these, and then I would adjust to the rapid back chest piece, which is I will show you here in a moment. And in the holster, I have good main stats across the board: 1268. 1258 and 1258 with 985 armor, and the major attributes 6% skill haste. So if I wanted to completely run with shotgun, I would easily switch this to that. I take out these mod slots. I would switch to the rapid, and then I would put these mods back in there. So as you can see, I'm a little less on the tanky side, just because of the armor roll that this has on it. And also, as you can see, it's rolled firearms, so I could easily re-roll the firearms to stamina. That would put it back down to around 7,000 in firearms. But the base damage is just pretty much off the charts, and I have 30% enemy armor damage and 28% skill haste, and my survivability 203k in my max health pool, and then my armor 31.67. But as it stands right now, I prefer the way that I had it, just for the simple fact of being a little more tanky. But like I said, I could easily switch to, you know, having extra enemy armor damage and health. Or I can go all resist, that's the way most of the ones are going these days. So the sky's the limit. It just depends on your personal preference and your playstyle. But this works out for me. I would just change the SMG damage to AR damage or shotgun damage, and you are good to go. So basically, if I had shotgun damage on it, then that would push my SASG 12 over 100k. It would average out to around 105 to 110k damage. Or if I had AR damage, then also that would boost it up to almost, see, that usually get around 12 to 1300. So almost 25k base damage. Or almost 21k base damage in the lightweight M4. But if you prefer the SMG, then that is the way to go. But that's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's been informative. Like I said, as it sits right now, 29% skill haste with 133k skill power isn't too shabby. And moving on to show you the booster shot, I get 79, almost 80k health in my health pool. Or if I chose to go to overdose, I would get 133k. But since I do have competent on my SASG 12, then I went with the booster shot, so I get that extra damage and stacks on stacks on stacks, accompanied with the striker stacks, and you know, I just completely obliterate everything in my path. But I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget about the giveaway. And now we're going to send you over to...
I got broads in Atlanta, just to the lean the family. Credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks in the van.